everyone, bonjour. Welcome to our first Sigma 6.4 event, Pecha Kucha presentation. I'm really thrilled and excited to kickstart this series of events. They're going to be hosted by Talsom to talk about some specific topics and a variety of subjects. To talk with these subjects, we will have with us some special guests that will have conversation with us on those topics, but also will take on the Pecha Kucha presentation challenge. And for those of you who don't know what Pecha Kucha presentation is, so it's a presentation format where the speaker has to talk in 6 minutes and 40 seconds, and he has to present 20 slides in 20 seconds per slide. It's a Japanese concept that was created and in Japan, of course, with the intention to talk less and show more. And I have to say, it's a challenging challenge. So for the topic today, we will talk about digital transformation and social innovation. And with us today, a special guest that I'm thrilled and really honored to call a friend and a mentor, Dr. Niels Billou.
Thank you, Adil. It's great to be here.
Thank you, Niels. Thank you for accepting our invitation. So Niels is the co-founder and executive director of the Humanos Institute, which is a non-for-profit that uses design thinking to solve social problems. And we will have the opportunity to talk a bit more about Humanos after your challenge. And so, as I mentioned, so there is a Pecha Kucha presentation. So Niels will have 6 minutes, 40 seconds to really talk about this topic. Hence, actually, the title of the event. There's a couple of other things, if you understood from the title, that would be good. That's great, because there's a lot of work put in there. And after that Pecha Kucha presentation, so we will have a discussion, Niels and myself, and I will be opening the floor for questions from the audience. So feel free to ask us questions along the conversation. So Niels, without further ado, since I know you're a great dancer, and I'm revealing some of your secrets here, and I'll stop there, I'm going to leave the dance floor to you.
Well, thank you very much, Adil, for the invitation, and thank you for not spilling all my secrets. So I'm really pleased to be here, and I am thrilled to be the first person in the series of Pecha Kucha challenges that Talsom is offering. So a word of disclosure, this is also my first Pecha Kucha challenge. And we'll see if someone who is as long-winded as me can really do a presentation in 6 minutes and 40 seconds, but I'm up for it. So without further ado, I think we should get started. So the last 2 years have shown us that the challenges that we face in our world have only grown. Income inequality is at an all-time high, with the combined wealth of the 8 richest individuals surpassing the combined wealth of the poorest 50%. According to the IMF, 120 million people were pushed into extreme poverty during the pandemic. Climate change continues to ravage the planet with extreme weather conditions, such as droughts, floods, and wildfires, directly impacting 800 million people each year. Global warming, deforestation, and other environmental threats are nearly at a tipping point. By the end of the century, we could be living with climate conditions that are entirely new to our species. So our challenges are plenty, and we need a different way of doing things based on shared values and a vision of working together for the common good, where private gain is always balanced by considering the needs of people and the planet. And we've started to do this with a growing number of social innovators that are taking on these challenges to make an impact. And in creating solutions to these hard challenges, technology can become one of our most powerful tools. We're living in the digital age, and the digital revolution has been transforming all sectors of the industry and reaching into all corners of the world. With this rapid advance in technology comes the opportunity to address social and environmental challenges with lasting and sustainable solutions. But before we do that, we have to use the perspective of the people that we're trying to help. So this is where the human-centered design thinking approach can be a powerful skill set. As we dig deep to understand the needs of the people we're trying to help and co-create solutions with them from their perspective, we can truly leverage the power of technology for good. And there's a lot of people who are starting to do this, and I'd like to share an example with you now from a company called BioLite based in New York. The idea came about by trying to solve a problem that was killing millions of people per year in rural areas in developing countries and making others sick and unable to work. More people die of household air pollution than HIV/AIDS, than tuberculosis, than malaria. 3.4 million people die every year. That's twice the population of the city of Montreal. This is one of the most unreported stories in the developing world. There have been numerous attempts to finding a solution, but none of them work too well. For example, in the early 1980s, the government of India developed cook stoves made of mud. They were distributed free of charge to about 30 million homes and were effective in reducing the fumes by about 25%. But they didn't cook the food very well, and they didn't last very long, and to boot, they were ugly. So nobody liked them. Soon, people abandoned them and went back to the traditional methods that kept them inhaling the dangerous fumes. Other attempts at designing cook stoves produced low-quality, clunky designs, some of them using solar technology, which had an effect on the taste of the food, leading to really poor adoption rates. So BioLite took the human-centered approach and started by interviewing and listening to the villagers and realized that the stove is not just an appliance, it's a sacred place for gathering to feed the family. So they designed a stove that would keep the taste by using wood while reducing fumes and being durable and easy to use. They used a clever technology, a thermoelectric generator that converts heat into electricity that powers the fan and charges a battery. They tested their prototype and found that women liked them. However, they discovered that in rural areas, while the wife does the cooking, the husband controls the money. So they knew that they had to convince the men and the women to buy the stove. Many men own a mobile phone, but are unable to charge it in their home. So they have to go to these kiosks in bigger community centers. For example, in Kenya, they spend about $3 to $4 to charge a phone. That's almost 7% of their income. So BioLite created a solution that would meet the needs of the men as well. They added a USB port to the stove. The thermoelectric generator is able to power the fan, charge the battery, as well as powering the USB port. This gave the husband incentive to buy and was more easily adopted as a useful technology by the whole family. So by deeply addressing and truly understanding the needs of the key people in the house, like BioLite was able to leverage technology to create a product that saves lives while fitting the context of those who will use it. Even though villagers had to pay for the stoves through affordable loans, the final impact was much higher with these than the free stoves that they were given by the government. Another example of social innovation that used the power of technology to save lives is the case of Cancer Research UK. This not-for-profit was searching for solutions to beat cancer and wanted to accelerate its research efforts in order to help reduce cancer fatalities. So Cancer Research started a citizen science program. They asked the question, how might we leverage the collective intelligence of non-scientists to help accurately analyze certain types of cancer data? Certain cancer analysis is very labor-intensive, and it needs a human judgment to verify the data. With only so many trained scientists, they needed more help from more people to succeed. So they teamed up with technology partners and created gaming apps that would allow citizens to play games with names like Genes in Space and Reverse the Odds. In these games, citizens would be given a simple tutorial on identifying cells that had been highlighted with a special dye that can identify biomarkers in cancer. As they play the game, in order to gain points and achieve higher levels, they have to assess the colored images. So they had to answer questions like, how many cancer cells do you see? How many cells are blue? How strongly are these cells glowing? Over the course of this program, 11 million data annotations were made by 500,000 citizens in 182 countries, together carrying out 15 years of research in just 12 months, significantly impacting the fight against cancer. So we see that technology can be a mighty ally in creating a world where we all thrive. If we want to create a world where there's justice, where there's equity, where there's diversity, where there's inclusion, we need to leverage all the tools at our disposal. And as much as technology can be an enabler, what we really need to do is mobilize all the actors, from companies to governments to civil society. We really need multi-stakeholder collaboration to get the full benefits of digital social innovation. And all the actors, from the private sector to philanthropists to social ventures and government, need to work together in concert to create a virtuous cycle where the entire ecosystem is empowered. From funding to training and peer-to-peer learning that promotes best practices, we need to support the conditions that enable the sustainable growth of digital social innovation models. As new breakthroughs are made in technology in fields such as artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things, blockchain, we must ensure that take the rightful place in our societies as engines of prosperity for all. We must work hard to democratize technology and ensure that there's access for all groups in a transparent way. We can't change the world with better technology. All it takes is a belief in our shared humanity and ability to see beyond just our own needs and desires and to take action to help improve the lives of others. Thank you.
Thank you, Niels.
Thank you.
As you can see, the audience is going crazy. I'm sure people at home are also like spilling coffee and stuff.